Food, so important to me. But can what I'm putting into my mouth help me climb better? Welcome back to another episode of Neednewshoes. My name is Derek and I've been climbing for 8 years. Why am I an orange? I don't know. And today, I want to find out 3 things. What is wrong with our current diet? What happens when we do not eat well? And what our ideal diet should look like. But stay tuned to the end for an extra bonus question. Last episode, I talked to a physiotherapist about finger health. This time, I get to talk to a certified dietitian who studied Malaysian climbers, and what he found might surprise you. Let's meet Leonard!
Hi, my name is Leonard. I've been a dietitian for close to a decade now, and full disclaimer, I also founded the brand Hoju.
Chicken rice, nasi lemak, mala hot pot, these are things that we love to eat, especially after a climb, at least for me. Is there anything wrong with that?
A lot of climbers are pretty dirtbag when it comes to their food as well. And so I think it's very common for us to just gravitate towards what's available. Maybe sometimes you climb after late, this is the food that you have available and have access to. They're not inherently wrong, but they're just not enough, or they are excessive of certain things. So I'll give you a good example. If you only eat chicken rice, right? Chicken rice is made of oiled rice with chicken, some slices of cucumber. It has a lot of saturated fats in the rice itself, which makes you feel full, even though the carb portion can be a bit more for what you actually need as a climber. The protein intake might be half a chicken breast only, which is clearly not enough protein as well. And obviously from a general health standpoint, that 3 slivers of cucumber is not enough. We did a cohort study looking into climbers here in Malaysia, and we wanted to find out what their body composition looked like. We wanted to understand what they were eating and benchmark that against what they should be eating. Without going into too much details, what I can share with everybody is from a calorie standpoint, we see anywhere between 30 to a 50% deficit. In terms of carbohydrate requirements, most of them, if not all of them, are under eating their carbs. When it comes to protein, we also saw anywhere between a 20% deficit all the way down to a 40% deficit.
I eat a lot, but I don't think I'm eating an equivalent to 6 plates of chicken rice a day. So what happens when we don't hit that calorie?
Well, number one, it's not like you're gonna die. It's not something that is detrimental. The bad news, however, is that you probably can't excel that much in climbing. You probably aren't as strong or as peak as your potential would be. And we see this in data, right? We see this in especially in sports with the female population where weight is of a concern. A lot of female sports athletes actually intentionally undereat so that they lose weight. What we often see is you, number one, don't have enough energy. Sometimes you will feel like that session really feels very poor. And I think more importantly, your recovery times are lagged. And when the challenge there that is sort of like a bad news is that when you are lagging and you still force yourself to do it, that's really when injury can happen quite frequently as well. So nothing detrimental at the front, but if you force yourself on and on and on, your fatigue and lethargy will get to you, and that can increase your chance of being sloppy and then getting into an injury.
Okay, Leonard, now we know roughly what our nutritional needs are as climbers, as well as what the research data shows. So, next question is, what can we do moving forward?
There are really 3 things that all climbers can sort of do already today. I think number 1 is maintain a healthy baseline first, right? So making sure that you have a general healthy diet that has a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of fiber, lean protein, is going to be number 1. The second thing, which is very unique to climbing, make sure you have enough carbs. I think from our data, it shows that a lot of climbers don't take enough carbs. And this could mean in your main meals, make sure there's at least 1 bowl of rice or 1 bowl of noodles, ideally slightly larger if you're climbing 3 to 5 times per week. You may want to prepare snacks as well. And when it comes to snacks, you may want to look for snacks that are primarily carbs first, with as little fat and as little protein as possible, so that you can use them during like a long bouldering session. 2 hours in, you take a snack to climb another 2 hours more, for example. And then the last thing I would say is make sure that you've got enough proteins as well. So proteins are really important because they are the basic building block to recovery. And you may be going for physio, rehab and things like that, but if you are not having enough protein intake in your diet, your physical therapy will not be as impactful, will not be as effective, because your body just cannot recover as fast as it should. And I think what you will notice, especially if you prioritize carbs first, you'll feel that your energy for climbing is much more ever present. You'll feel that you can last longer sessions. You'll feel that your best sessions improving as well. And if you are also doing training on the side with finger training and things like that, you will notice that your progression will also improve pretty well at the same time.
To make all this information easier to digest, let's go through an ideal diet for someone like me who climbs about 2 to 3 times a week. Starting with breakfast. For breakfast, I eat 3 slices of bread, 3 eggs, and a serving of fruit. For lunch, I'm eating about 1 and a little more bowl of rice, plus 1 full chicken breast, 1 serving of vegetable, as well as a serving of fruit, ideally. Before my evening climbing session, I'm taking this very yummy snack. It's made with a lot of carbs, high in calorie, low in fiber, and low in protein, which makes it easily absorbable into my system for that great energy boost. Dinner will be similar to my lunch, with high servings of protein, vegetable, as well as my carbohydrate for energy. And at night, I'll take a protein snack or I'll drink a protein shake for recovery. So we talked mainly about the macronutrients. What about the micronutrients like vitamin C, taking a multivitamin supplement? Do those help me climb better?
Right. So loosely speaking, if you have your nutrition done correctly and you're eating correctly from what we mentioned about just now, you don't really need additional supplements in terms of your vitamins and stuff like that. For the most part, you're good. There may be some instances where it might benefit, but those are typically what I would term as the diminishing returns of nutrition, where you're looking for that 0.5% improvement only. So for most of us, we might not actually experience it.
Because you're already getting it from your vegetable.
Correct. If you are having
what if I'm only eating broccoli? Then I will need it, right?
Compared to the bulk of Malaysians and Singaporeans, you're going to do better than them, but you're going to be very limited to the nutrition of a broccoli. So in an ideal world, you're going to be swapping out your broccoli with brinjal and things like that, and you get different vegetables, different nutrition. But loosely speaking, if you're eating broccoli just by itself, you're already better than most people. Just not as good as you
eat
can
your broccolis, guys.
Where supplements can be really, really helpful is if you find yourself in a position where you're not able to hit those protein numbers, you're not able to hit those carb numbers. I think for a lot of climbers, we see a lot of benefit in post-workout care, where because typically when you finish climbing, it's late at night, there's not a lot of food available. So oftentimes, you might not be getting enough protein in that sense. So a protein-based drink would definitely be helpful if it's high enough in protein doses, especially, of course, if you also find it easy to drink as well.
Leonard, last question. What is one key takeaway that all climbers should know in terms of nutrition?
Yeah, if there's anything that I can say for you guys to take away is that don't place the least importance on your food and nutrition. In fact, the inverse might be true.
So eat properly and eat your broccolis.
Not just broccoli, any other vegetables also.
Alright, thank you so much for taking the time to share and impart your knowledge on nutrition to my fellow climbers.
Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I will come on board and give you the answers respectively.
So that's all for this episode of Neednewshoes. Hope you guys learned a thing or two about nutrition. And thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.